Welcome to another Jim Merritt's Indiana podcast. I'm Jim Merritt. Today we're with Nate and Boyett at the Boyett Treatment Center in Evansville, Indiana. Nate, you and I have known each other just a little bit, but I've been curious about your journey, your adventure in life, and then how you created this beautiful facility and what you do here. Tell us about how you got here.
Okay, yeah. Let's see, my story, I like how you said adventure. I wouldn't go as far as saying it was an adventure, but we can call it my journy. That's good enough. So, my journey, I'm originally from Henderson, Kentucky, which is just about 20 minutes from where we're at right now. That's where I was raised at, my whole life. It's a small town, like 40,000 people, not huge, but, it's like most small towns, there's not a lot to entertain teenagers, so teenagers tend to go towards the party and stuff, and that's kind of what I went towards. The popular kids partying in cornfields, smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol. That's pretty much what my teen years was marijuana and alcohol. And then after I graduated high school, it was just one thing led to another, and then eventually cocaine came into the picture, and eventually cocaine led to methamphetamine for me, and that's kind of that's what brought me here. That's where I'm sitting right here, is because of my struggles with methamphetamine. So a lot of people, they look at drug addiction as the worst thing to ever happen to them. And I agree, it is one of the worst things that can ever happen to you. But in my case, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me too. Because now I'm taking that pain and that journey through that and using that to not only help myself, but help others find recovery. So
and when you discovered there's a wide world out there, and you were suffering from addiction, family came around?
Absolutely, family was around.
And how did you decide that you were going to probably change, 1,000 lives so far with this facility? How did that come about?
How did this end up happening?
Right.
Okay, so, back in 2005, that's when I got clean. I went through the place called...
16 years ago.
16 years ago. I went to a place called the Healing Place in Louisville, Kentucky. It's an outpatient residential treatment program. It took me 8 months to get through that facility, that program, and then I actually stayed on 4 months afterwards as a peer mentor. So they gave me the opportunity to work with them until I found, a real job. Right. So I stayed there and I worked for 4 months.
So you kind of...
I got a taste of it, and I was like, whoa, helping people.
And what were you doing there? Counseling?
Yeah, counseling, classes, case management, just a whole range of things, just kind of helping the clients, because that facility, it's those facilities where I went through, it's ran by the clients, it's staffed by clients, there's, like when I was that first 6-8 months when I was going through the program, I had numerous jobs. I was the kitchen manager, I was the donations driver, I was the security guard, so they teach you all these life skills, and as you go through the program, and then I got to go on staff and help kind of lead those guys for a good 4 months after that. And like I said before, it gave me a taste. So like I kind of put that back in the back of my mind. Like I knew I really liked that, and I really got a lot of personal gratification out of helping others. So I knew maybe one day that might be something I'd be interested in getting back into. I did kind of end up doing different jobs over the years. I was a valet at the Brown Hotel in Louisville, and then I was a casino county manager at the local casino here, Tropicana. But then one of my best friends, who I went through the Healing Place with, he stayed in he worked at the Healing Place, and then he moved on to another place, and then eventually he got into the Suboxone treatment industry. I really didn't know a lot about it when I first went through recovery.
For our listeners and our viewers, Suboxone.
Suboxone, yes.
What is Suboxone?
Suboxone's medically assisted treatment. It's very similar to methadone, but it's not quite as, I don't want to say strong as methadone, but it's, I don't want to get into the science of it, but they are two different drugs.
Right.
Suboxone is a little bit more preferred because it has what's called a cap. Once you take a certain amount, it doesn't even work anymore.
Yeah, what Suboxone really does is it measures you off of the heroin or the opioid you're working
any
with.
other opioid you're on.
Right.
You just stop that, you can immediately start the Suboxone. Well, you can start it within 24 hours.
Right, so you step down.
Yeah, and then you get stable on the Suboxone, and the Suboxone actually, most people, they're normal on Suboxone. It gives them the opportunity to kind of get their stuff together and get stable, and that's what's good about it.
So you had the idea. We're right across from Ascension St. Vincent's in Evansville, Indiana, so it's right here. And for those that might be suffering from addiction that try to go to the hospital, you're right next door. And now is the Boyett Treatment Center, it's all counseling, or is there some medical regarding the Suboxone? Explain what we do here.
It's pretty simple, really. In a nutshell, our treatment plans, for the most part, well, everybody's is going to be a little different based off, whatever's going on with them. For the most part, that person's going to be meeting with the provider at least once a month. So they'll be meeting with a doctor, nurse practitioner, one or the other, usually once a month. And then they'll be required to attend group counseling here. And that, how often they have to attend the group counseling will depend on where they're at in their treatment plan. If they've had 6 months of clean screens, drug screens, we're going to let them only come once a month. But if they're coming in there dirty all the time, we want to see them in here weekly. So we can drug test them weekly and let them hit a group, get into a counseling once a week.
Right. And you have standardized counselors and...
Yeah. We, for the most part, we use certified recovery specialists, which are pretty much just peer support specialists here in the state of Indiana. That's the classification for them here in Indiana. I really like using peer support because I found myself as a person in recovery and all the clients I've worked with over here, they seem to be the most responsive to people that have been through this and then are now in recovery.
Now you 1,000 individuals have come through here, and a large percentage of those individuals have found a great life after. And how many people are in your peer groups where they almost counsel each other?
That's what my peer groups absolutely are.
Okay. And how many people are in a group?
About 10. I try to keep it capped at 15. I like to keep the groups small. That way they're personable. The whole purpose of group therapy is so these people can start making a support group. Support group is very important. A lot of people in recovery don't have their family. I'm lucky. I'm very lucky to have my family, but a lot of people don't, and they need other people around them that are going to support them and hold them up. So that's kind of my purpose of making sure these people attend group counseling, because a lot of times as addicts in recovery, we like routine.
Right.
We're very routine based. So if I get the same person signed up for this same day every week or every 2 weeks, they're going to see the same people at those same sessions. If they stay with, and then they start making those connections. Maybe having somebody to call when they hit a rough moment, when because I'm not available 24/7.
Right.
My staff's not available 24/7.
How many people are in your staff?
Right now we got about 5 people.
5 people.
Okay. 5 people.
So one of the problems in the state of Indiana, ladies and gentlemen, is that we don't have enough Boyett treatment centers. You probably saw the statistic recently where 100,000 people died of overdoses recently, and the COVID has been very punitive on addiction.
Yes, it has.
Let's discuss COVID a little bit and how it affected your company here, the folks that are dependent really on the face-to-face counseling with each other.
Yeah.
How did COVID hit you?
It definitely, last year when the lockdowns came, it had a huge effect. We had to immediately switch over to like a telemedicine type operation. A lot of those people weren't getting the therapy, the group therapies that they needed as much anymore. It definitely, it made a large impact on the clients, which in return made a large impact on my company.
Sure.
People were getting laid off, and then just, financial struggles for them. We absolutely saw an uptick in the amount of relapses. And unfortunately, I absolutely saw an uptick in the amount of overdose. I can tell you right now, I know since the start of COVID, I've had 8 former clients that are dead from overdoses. 8 here in this community. Absolutely. I try to go to every funeral, and these are people I did not expect to. You know what I'm saying? Nobody expects an overdose.
No. But it just makes you sad.
It's horrible. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to compare it to COVID, but to me, from my perspective, the opioid epidemic's not getting the media attention it needs because it's
kind of stopped.
Gotten worse.
Yeah, it kind of stopped. COVID took its place.
Yes.
there is a proposal in Southwest Indiana that is very, very strong in my opinion. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, is to hear from other individuals in the area about the possibility of this proposal, and it really is modeled after Recovery Kentucky.
Yes. And
it also is peer-to-peer, which for all accounts is the most powerful part of helping people rise up and away from addiction. From your knowledge of it, and I understand that things have been kind of status quo, but the model that we're talking about with Southwest Indiana, to me, is a powerful model. Would you kind of inform our audience of what's actually happening with that?
Okay, so the Southwest Indiana, this new kind of treatment, it's a long-term residential treatment proposal. That's very similar to the facility I went through in Louisville, Kentucky. Like I said, they're all over the state. So it's
they have 18 in Kentucky.
18 is that the right
That's
number?
what I saw the number.
Okay, yeah, I knew they were pushing 20 somewhere there.
Yes,
so.
and Henderson, right 20 minutes from here, has one.
Yeah, there's one in Henderson. There's a women's facility in Henderson, a men's in Owensboro, another men's in Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
So, but basically it works like they're the ones in Kentucky are 100% free. You don't have to pay a penny. The only thing it cost me was time. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I ever paid, was my time. Mm-hmm. It's 100% free.
Then you went to the healing place.
I went to the healing place. Mm-hmm. That is actually, the healing place in Louisville and the Hope Center in Lexington are the, those are the originals. Those are the, that's what everything, those are the original models. Mm-hmm. The rest of Recovery Kentucky was replicated after those models.
Okay.
So, but you go into detox. You'll spend 5 to 7 days in a non-medical detox. Mm-hmm. If you need medical detox, they will send you to the appropriate medical facility for a week and then have you come back to them. Mm-hmm. And then you'll get into a program. The first part of the program is called, like, the way they did it in Louisville. Mm-hmm. I don't know how exactly the Indiana would probably, there'll be some different nuances.
Yes, that's what they promised.
Yeah, but, it's called, the first part is called Off the Street 1. And that means you're just fresh off the street. They're trying to, that's kind of that first part of the program really is to see who wants it and who doesn't.
Introductory.
Yeah, it's really...
Take the temperature.
It's not even that. It's like they make you trudge. Mm-hmm. Like we had to trudge a mile to class every day and walk a mile to class every day and walk back, rain, snow, or shine. Mm-hmm. That's what we had to do. And, they did that because, number one, they want you to get physical exercise. Number two, you're mixing with all those people. And number three, it's willingness.
They just want to see how serious you are.
Yeah, some people aren't willing to walk a mile someplace every day and a mile back to get clean, and if they're not willing to do that, places like that don't want you in them. If you're not willing to actually do the work, they don't want to waste their time with you, basically. Right. So, but then you do Off the Street, and then after you kind of get through that, you have to I spent like 4 to 6 weeks in that part. Then you go to what's called Phase 1. Phase 1 is where you actually work the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous.
I see.
We did
and that is peer-to-peer.
That's peer-to-peer. We did a recovery dynamics curriculum, which is just basically the AA Big Book broken into a teachable curriculum. Mm-hmm. So that's the way we did it. We went through the 12 steps, and then once you get into Phase 2, that's kind of getting you out. Basically, at that point, you graduated the program,
right?
And they're getting you like job skills, helping you find a job, helping you find a place, those kind of things, and they follow through with you too. They stay with you.
Well, it sounds like a great program. I'm really looking forward to talking with some of the leaders in southwestern Indiana, along with yourself, and going over to Henderson, Kentucky, and seeing the program over there. The addiction space. What I say is that addiction or the use of heroin or some sort of opioid it's an illness, not a character flaw. No. And I think that's how we ought to continue to feel about this, because it's not their fault. It is a situation where their mind has been taken over. And to me, it's all about mental health. And so, Nate...
Most drug use is self-medication.
Yes.
That's all it is. Yeah. They're medicating an underlying condition. And until we get to the underlying condition... A lot of times the drug use continues over and over and over, the relapses.
Right.
So,
well, Nate, thank you very much for sitting for an interview today. And
absolutely.
This is another episode of Jim Merritt's Indiana.